During the first 50 years of the 19th century, overcrowding in the graveyards had become quite a problem. So London's growing population started to jump by the millions, so it was literally doubling on itself. So the population of London during the 19th century was at first around 1 million, then it kind of doubled to about 2.3. London in the Victorian period was a very dirty, dangerous place, so a lot of people were dying really early. So London had this issue of overcrowding. What they decided to do was create cemeteries on the outskirts of London, and that's where all of the graves would be moved to. So you'd have things like communal graves, and you'd have people paying for spaces, especially for the rich and the famous who wanted a plot. That one there we'll be talking about a bit more in the Highgate video coming up. So I'm sorry this is a really delayed video for me. With the Magnificent Seven, I did a mini project, so to speak. It wasn't my dissertation, but it was a mini project I did during uni to study just Victorian attitudes towards death and, you know, the differences between how they dealt with death to now. You might already know about Highgate. So Highgate is one of the most well-known ones for London, but we're not starting in there, we're starting at Brompton. So Brompton Cemetery is in the borough of Kensington and Chelsea. It's currently being managed by the Royal Parks, and it is indeed one of the Magnificent Seven. It was erected in 1839 and it was opened in 1840. And it's also a place that you guys might recognise because a lot of things get filmed here. So if you're like me, you're a fan of Sherlock Holmes, The Game of Shadows, the one with Robert Downey Jr. in it, they filmed Blackwood's resurrection, his apparent destroying of the grave, in the cemetery. So they chose a spot, and obviously he comes back from the dead. I am using air quotes right now, but you guys can't see that. And this is a play again where they, you know, the police go there, and Sherlock Holmes makes this point that they're all playing, you know, they're all playing like rugby because they've made a mess of like the evidence and they've destroyed everything. So there are more than 205,000 burials on the site, and there's also what you'll see in a lot of these graveyards, there's big giant plots, so giant mausoleums, family mausoleums, and then often or not there are common graves, like I said before. That's a common grave is where lots of coffins are buried on top of each other, so there's earth in between them, like 3 inches or so not very much, but it's to save space because of, you know, the overcrowding in London. They wanted there not to be any burials within London anymore. So at this point, these cemeteries were out of London. Nowadays, they're like in North London and East and West, so because obviously London has expanded, so these aren't really out of London anymore, but it is a great place to go and see. Now you can go to this one without paying a fee, because obviously Highgate, which we're going to talk about later, you do have to pay a fee to go into there, and you do have to book to go into the big bit. With this one, if you are lucky enough, I haven't done this yet, if you can book yourself onto I think it's a talk, or they do like a tour every Sunday of the month, like once every month, and they'll take you into the catacomb bit where they'll show you all the coffins, where the coffins are stacked up. In Highgate, if you pay to go to West Cemetery, you will get to see a little bit, and it is quite surreal seeing all of these really old Victorian coffins lined in lead around you, open fronted, because the Victorians would go have a look and they'd want to talk to their dead. So most of the time they just had open ends and you can see right into the kind of the grave where they're laying. I'm always careful when I'm videoing in graveyards because as much as I find them very fascinating and I think you can learn a lot from them, it is also respectful not to be focusing on things like names and just trying to be as respectful as I can, because this is still where people are laying in rest. What you will see, there are colonnades around the catacombs, which is the bits I'm getting all these beautiful pictures from. I've included quite a few of them because I absolutely love the effect you get of the natural light in the columns. This place is definitely worth a visit. It is free, you can get there quite easily on the district line. It might take a couple of hours if you're going to walk around properly, but try not to go too late, because I know they have a bit of an issue with, because it's free and anyone can get in, people do go there and drink and cause a few issues. So do be careful, just, you know, go during the morning. So with the catacombs, what I found out as well, especially with the Highgate thing as well, there's a lot of crossovers. So if you do watch the Highgate video, you're going to notice a lot of crossing over of information here, that the catacombs aren't actually full up. There's only about 500 of them, of the many thousands which are actually sold. So there's a lot of empty places in there. During the Second World War, this cemetery did suffer some bomb damage. Some of the wall is now gone, and it is a Grade 1 listed place. Some people think it's haunted, but I'll leave that one up to you. I personally have never felt anything in any of these graveyards. It's just a little bit surreal when you're in the catacombs itself. I hope you guys decide to come and visit. It's definitely worth your time to come and visit anyway, even if you just want somewhere peaceful to escape, because you're still in London, but it really does feel quiet in these locations. So I hope you guys have enjoyed learning a little bit and you've enjoyed the video at the very least. I am now tomorrow off to Budapest, so I won't be online for 5 days. I've got a lot coming your way from Budapest, and obviously I've got Highgate coming your way. I also plan to go back to do Abbey Park again at some point to get some videos, just so maybe I do all of the Magnificent Seven. Again, I hope you guys are having a good day, and I will see you all in another video. Bye bye guys.